So now half guard, right? So back in the day, people used to teach that half guard is 50-50. The problem is half guard is never 50-50, right? Half guard is always me winning or him winning, right? It's very rare. I shouldn't say never, but it's very rare whenever it's truly 50-50. So it depends on what kind of half guard, right? And half guard, like anything where like he's around one of my legs is half guard, right? So it could be deep half, I could be standing up, right? It could be low knee shield, it could be high knee shield, it could be butterfly guard, right? It's all half guard, right? He's around one of my legs. So as a top guy, here's my primary battle. If I'm far away from him, whenever I land in half guard, he's gonna start putting in either a knee shield or a high knee shield here, and he's gonna frame. Is that good or bad for me? Right? Because as a top guy, I'm trying to close the distance and get inside control, right? As a bottom guy, he's trying to create distance. It's kind of good for him. Like I'm on top, but I'm not really smashing Roy that much, right? Like he can talk to me, right? Like his life is fine. So if I'm ever in half guard and I can, I'm gonna put my shoulder to his chest right away. Because if, like takedown, right? If I can take down, again, head upside of head, not sure what happened. If I can put my shoulder to his chest, there is no knee shield here. Does that make sense? And as soon as the shoulder is there, I'm gonna move up a little bit and look for my underhooks. Okay? So the point is, top guy, I'm looking for underhooks, but I'm not gonna look for underhooks this way, right? Because he's gonna throw a knee shield in, he's gonna start framing, and it's gonna be hard. So I'm trying to look for underhooks, putting the shoulder to the chest, and start swimming my arms in this way. Right? So if I can, I do this. As soon as I do have at least one underhook, the next battle for the top guy is this arm and head control. Does that make sense? I'm around his legs, right? I'm controlling this arm. I don't want to look up if I'm not talking. I'm going to put my head down so you can't push me away. But the next thing is who's controlling this arm, right? So as a top guy, I'm trying to get to the inside, down, up, and pin this down. Whenever I'm ready, I'm gonna graduate from controlling his hand to having some kind of head control, right? And collar grip is head control, right? I'm controlling his head by a collar. So we went from maybe here, I'm swimming inside, either go for head control right away or pin the wrist first, right? You can use the leg if you want to, and then it's head control, right? And then I'm gonna start to try to pass. So like if Roy does get an underhook, my job is to be as heavy on this side, like go back to it just for a second. He gets an underhook right before he gets to if he gets to the arm, it's kind of like too far away. As the top guy, what they're gonna try to do if they're good is take their head and put it as close to the hip as possible, right? So now Roy has an underhook, but it's hard to use it. The other thing they might do if your head is hanging out, like even if you get an underhook, if there is space right here, I'm gonna take a nice little cross face and start putting him flat, right? So as a top guy, I want him flat, right? I want to cross face him, right? Because we said that one of the battles for bottom half guard guy is always gonna be this inside arm, right? Control over the head, right? As a bottom person, right? Let's talk about goals for the bottom person. So really, he kind of has three things. So top person has three things to worry about. Knee shield, right? And if he passes the knee shield, it's underhook. And if he passes underhook, it's this arm, right? Because that's kind of like all I have left right now to fight out of this. And if he's dominating both, like two underhooks, if he's dominating both my arms, it's kind of like, well, how do I escape a really high mount, right? Like I messed up a lot here, right? It's still doable. But like I just don't want to ever be here. So, as a bottom person, because I want to keep Roy away, I never really want to play this half guard. If I can, I'll put my knee shield in, right at the hip, right? Because now I'm controlling the distance a little bit. Not forever, right, but a little bit. If I want to control it forever, I need to start putting my hands on him, right, barriers. Right? And I'm reaching across and posting on his shoulder. If If I keep your shoulder away, right, I can talk to you all day, right? So now we have this battle for inside control, right? Whenever I'm ready, chances are I'll go to high knee shield and start looking for an undercut. Once again, inside position. Right? Does that make sense in terms of guard retention a little bit? Right? So you're fighting for inside position, you put in a knee shield in, and then you're trying to like have a guard that's not just your legs, you're also engaging your arms. Make sense? Now, for knee shield, right, you can have your primary half guard you play. If common things that can happen, I'm keeping him away, I'm posting, and Roy smashes my knees together. Right? If my knees are smashed together, they're not like, I have a little bit of time, right? But if I just stay here, he'll walk around my legs, right? So I'm gonna move my knee towards my chest and go to high knee shield. So I move my knee closer to my chest, high knee shield, right? Whenever I'm ready, I'm either gonna move him to the side and go for an underhook, or I can go back to my knee shield, right? Where my knees are separated, right? Does that make sense? So that's one common thing I can have. Low knee shield is really good. If the person's trying to run away from you, you can pull them back, right? So I can use both, like, whenever you have a low knee shield, my top leg is pushing him, my bottom leg is pulling him, right? So I can move him forward and backwards, right? If you go to butterfly, it's really good for whenever Roy wants to come at me, because now I can start lifting him a little bit. But it's bad if he wants to run away from me, right? Because I can't keep him back. It's hard for me to keep him back, right? You can a little bit. So we're in low knee shield. So all of that is just like overview and a little bit of context and a little bit of ideas of like what you can go for to like make your opponent's life a little harder. I'm in low knee shield, and one of the primary things I'm gonna, right, like for me to advance my position, right? I'm framing, I'm looking for an underhook. Does that make sense? So I can, a lot of times I'll move to high knee shield for a little bit, and that gives me space to go for an underhook. Let's try that for a little bit, right? So we're here, low knee shield, put some pressure, the partner put some pressure, right? Fight for the inside position for a little bit. Whenever you're ready, go to high knee shield, kick their head towards this way, away from the underhook, and then I'm switching my foot, my knee, for my shoulder. Right here. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to just go high knee shield, take it out, he's gonna drop on me, and then try to dig in an underhook. That's not gonna happen, right? Like, that was giving me space to get inside. Does that make sense? So low knee shield, I have my frames, he's putting some pressure on me, I swim to the inside, I'm gonna go to high knee shield, I'm gonna move him, and I'm gonna get an underhook, right? Anytime I'm going for an underhook, I wanna hide my head. I wanna be close. Either the chest or the leg, but I wanna be like trying to close it, you know? Like, it's not gonna be very effective. I should have enough time to start messing with them. Does that make sense? Right, so you get an underhook, you hide your face, right? If you get an underhook and hide your face, you're in a pretty good shape. So sometimes, like, if you're like right kind of like start smashing my knees a little bit. So this is, and move your head this way. So sometimes whenever guys know you want to play half guard, they start doing this, right? They go low on your knees, and they kind of move their head that way, because now the underhook is far away. Like, how am I going to get an underhook from here? I'm not, right? You can go back to attacking the arm, which we started with, right? Or for an underhook, I really want his weight this way. Does that make sense? So in general, I'm just going to look at his head, and if his head is a little more this way, I'm attacking him with things that are going to push him this way. If his head is this way, I'm going to start attacking him with things that are going to push his way that way. Does that make sense? So I'm either, and I can do it myself, I can push his head one way or the other. But I'm either trying to constantly push his head one way, push his head another way. Not too many times where I just want his head like right here, unless I'm sweeping him over me. Make sense? So, we're in half guard, I have knee shield, as soon as the whistle blows, I know he's gonna be trying to control this arm, right? I'm on his shoulder. Is he gonna get an underhook? I don't think so. I'm on my side, on my shoulder, right? But he's gonna try to get head control. So I'm gonna go from the shoulder post to inside of the armpit. Right, put some weight, weight forward. So I'm gonna go under his armpit, right? I still have a frame, my forearm, which is keeping him away, but now I'm going under the armpit. From here, as soon as I can, I need to sneak past this arm, right? I need to sneak past this arm, and this kind of like armpit grip is helping me with that. But I'm sneaking past his arm, and I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna get this way. From here, my knees are facing, like I'm on my side, my knees are facing away from me. And I'm gonna put, this is a form of X-guard sweep. If his knees touching the ground, it's basically a guaranteed sweep, right? If we're here, have control of one of his legs, I need to do one thing to get a sweep, pedal to the metal. So I need to squeeze the pedal. I can't afford to slow down, right? So from here, I'm extending my legs, and I'm getting up and running up. Right, so one more time. Half guard. I have my frames. This works really good whenever he's putting his weight on me, right? Because he's trying to control my head. So I'm pushing him away, I get inside the position, and from here, I'm diving under him, right? So my head goes to the knee. Look away. If the knee is down, pedal to the metal. Come on top. Right? Any questions? Do we need to see it one more time? So it's a scoop grip. You could do this, and the first, so this sweep in Portuguese is called throwing away the garbage. Right? I can't say it in Portuguese, but it's called throwing away the garbage. Getting the garbage, throwing it away. The first way I started messing around with sort of like a sweep in this kind of like related sweeps was without the scoop grip. So sometimes I'll just put my head down here, then put his knee above my shoulder, right, and get up. The problem with that is, if Roy is really good and he cross faces me, it stops it, right? So we go back. So you can do it, right? I'm in half guard. If I can ever put my head, my ear, to his knee, and then from here, put his knee on top of my shoulder before he cross-faces me, I should be able to sweep him. I don't want to stay with my back to the floor, I just go sideways, pedal to the metal on top. The problem is, Roy's pretty good. I put my ear to his knee, and he cross-faces me hard and sprawls. And just doesn't feel good, right? I started here, and I ended up being in here. Right, not fun. That's why, right, I have this scoop grip, right? That's gonna help me to pull, and it's keeping him away from my head control. Even if he grabs a little bit of my head, it's not very strong, right? I should be able to swim inside. And go for it. So one more time. And this is, again, this is not a sweep whenever they're running away from me. This is sweep whenever they're trying to put a lot of, because they're trying to go forward, it's Sherman, they're trying to put a lot of their weight here, right? Whether, like, if maybe they're on one knee, maybe they're on both knees, but they're going forward, right? The more they're putting pressure on you, the better it works. So we're here, frame, scoop grip, and now look, the other like mechanical thing, as I'm scooping him, I'm pulling my knees in, right? So just think about it. Will it be easier for me, so imagine there's Roy there, right? Will it be easier for me to lift him overhead this way, or bring my knees in and this way, right? Because it's easier for me to sneak my legs under him. I'm sneaking my legs under him, I'm still under him, now I have inside control, right? So we're here, Here's my frame. I just go to the armpit. I'm gonna put my head towards the knee, bring my knees over, right under him. Now I'm controlling his weight. I just need to make my knees look towards the wall. Paddle to the paddle. Try to end up at least in half guard. Any questions? Let's give it a try. 1, 2. Half guard, knee shield, half guard, right? I'm framing away. He beats this arm, and now he starts putting my legs up. I'm going to keep scooting him, right? I'm gonna put my head next to his knee. Paddle to the metal, right? And I'm up. I'm gonna do it one more time. If he keeps standing out, right? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna just show. Right? So just like keep your body facing the ground, like the chest. So we're here. He starts putting pressure on me. I'm gonna stick myself. Paddle to the metal. Don't fall. Don't fall. I'm gonna stand up. If he looks away, I'm gonna climb. Right? So from here. Here. Make sense? Right, we started our match. I started with knee shield. He put a lot of pressure on me. I barely recovered, but I can tell he's rushing into me. That's what he wants to do. I'm gonna stick one butterfly hook in. This time, whenever he's rushing into me, I already have one hook in place for an X guard. Right? And Roy trying to get up on the feet. With an X guard, for like regular X guard, my front foot is on his knee. The other foot is by his hip and there's tension. I do want him to either catch his hands on the floor or knee on the floor. Because we know knee on the floor means paddle to the battle, right? It's almost a guaranteed sweep. If you don't hesitate and you put the paddle to the metal. If Roy is really postured, like if Roy completely postures up, one thing we can do is keep the foot at the hip, drop to the ankle, and push back, right? And then I gotta get up faster. But usually whenever Roy is postured up, it's kind of like not the best thing for me, like posture, because now he can start using his hands and start clearing my hooks. So right away whenever I'm here, that's why like with the left sweep, it wasn't quite X guard, but it was a form of X guard. It's modified X guard. I said you want to be stuck here, right? Because X guard has no chill. Like you gotta put the pedal to the metal. Half guard has chill, right? So whenever I'm here, I need Roy's knee on the ground or I need his hands on the ground, right? Or he's gonna fight me. I don't want him to fight me. So we're here, I extend my legs, now I can do my tactical stand up, right? Foot back and stand up, right? So I get Roy back. So this time, exactly the same sweep, just start with half butterfly, right? A lot of the same things apply as like knee shield. If I want an underhook, I want his head this way, right? So if for whatever reason we're fighting, if I want my underhook, I'm gonna start pulling his head this way, because this is ideal position for me to come up for an underhook, or even come up for an underhook here. Now the only thing that's stopping a sweep is his hand, right? So if I can snatch his hand, I should be able to get a sweep. But that's not the only place he can put his head, right? And so like, as I'm pulling his head this way, he's gonna start going the other way, and that's when we come up for runaway, the garbage sweep. Right? So it's the same sweep, except for my foot right now is on the inside, right? And because of that, because my foot is not here, last time my knee was facing inside, this time it's facing outside. But the sweeping principle itself is exactly the same, just a little safer for leg locks too. Right, so one more time. We're in half guard knee shield. I know Roy wants to come forward, so I take my hook and put it on the inside. My knee needs to be kind of like on the outside or at the shoulder. If my knee starts getting smashed, that's not half butterfly, right? So your knee starts getting smashed, get your foot away, right? So I put my half butterfly. He starts putting pressure on me. I'm gonna look for a scoop grip. I gotta clear my right, like can't let him have head control. Put my head towards the knee. Scoop him up. X guard here. right from here. Extend your legs and then stand up. Who likes the knee shield?
I do.
Right, we have one person, 2 people, right? I like the knee shield only if I'm on bottom, right? If I'm on top, I don't like this stuff. But what is this? It's annoying, right?
That's what
It's
I meant.
keeping the distance between us. Here's how you kill. Here's how you, like a modern good way to kill knee shield. It's going to involve me taking his knees from facing to the side. When I'm facing to the sides, they're a little bit apart. He has his legs locked, right? It's going to involve some form of me taking his knees and making them look up. I can do something like this and then switch to the knee cut. We've done that quite a bit, you know, like in the past. Or better yet, right here, I'm putting pressure on him, right? We're fighting in inside position. I got control over this arm, and I'm starting to put pressure on him enough to where I'm making his knees face up. Because this is no longer, like there's no longer knee shield, right? I can either try to get around this way, or I'm gonna keep walking and make the knees face the other way, right?
That's sneaky.
This happened to Kevin, right? So this is what kind of happened to you at the tournament. You have half guard, but the guy's gonna put so much pressure on you that the knees are facing up. And once the knees are facing up, right, it's not a very good half guard, right? There's not that much work you can do to me, especially if I start getting an underhook, right? And I think what Kevin's opponent to us with an underhook, right? So I'm trying to, I don't want to be too high, right? I don't want to do this. I want to start flattening the way up, but I'm this way, and he bumps me, I roll over. So I want to have a pin the arm, thumb up, right with knee shield. I'm starting to make his feet look up. Whenever I can, I swing to the inside and put the shoulder below the chin. Right? From here, either keep walking, right? Or you can even see if you can clear this way into this half, right?
What's Roy's answer to that?
The sweep we just did.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So every guard is good for something, right? Like I mentioned that guard retention, guard recovery, you don't have one guard, you're switching between guards, right? You can put if the knees are going up, Roy needs to start switching guards, right? He can start putting in, and this, he can start going for X guard. He can't, but knee shield goes away. Knees up, start looking for things other than knee shield. Make sense? Because maybe I make the knees look up, and maybe I don't smash the knees that way, where I try to grab my legs with your legs. There's no way he can hold me, right? If he can't hold me, he's not he can't hold me, he can't control me, how's he gonna sweep me? Right? Or he's gonna get past his guard, right? Because if he's trying to retain his guard, there needs to be barriers, right? And as soon as the knees are facing up, not effective barriers. So the point is knee shield, very good for pulling the person in and away from you, right? So if they're trying to stall, it's not a bad one. Really good butterfly half, really good for whenever they start putting pressure on you.